Nearly every psychic that I know wants to be better at their own psychic abilities. And this could mean that they are more accurate when they are giving energy healing sessions to somebody. They want to be sure that the information they're picking up on intuitively is correct. It could look like meditating and bringing in psychic information and wanting to know that the information you're getting during your meditation is correct. It could look like being a medium and connecting with the spirit world, and you want to know that the information you're pulling from the spirit world is, of course, accurate and correct. So I think that's actually a really good goal to have. I mean, in any other profession, you know that your skill set and your ability to practice and improve in that skill set is going to make you better. And psychic development and mediumship abilities and energy healing and other forms of intuitive practices are no different. They're exactly the same. So in this video, I want to share with you my best tips for being a more accurate and confident psychic, medium, intuitive, empath, healer. Whatever your label is, whatever your skill set is, these tips are going to help you to become better at that. So who am I to be offering this advice to you in the first place? Well, my name is Nicole Antoinette, and I'm a psychic medium. And these tips and methods that I'm going to share with you have helped me tremendously on my own spiritual path, and I hope that they'll help you too. The very first item that I have on this list is taking personal responsibility for your own energy. What exactly does that mean? Well, as I'm sure you already know, not everyone is into this whole psychic thing. So when you talk to a friend, when you talk to your partner, when you talk to your family members, there are going to be people who are supportive of you, who think that this work is absolutely fascinating. And there's going to be other people that think you're just completely off your rocker. And so one of the ways that you can be more protective and take more responsibility for your energy is limiting that time with the people who are naysayers, the people who are making snide comments about your psychic abilities, or the people who are telling you, you don't really believe in that, do you? Or maybe you give a reading to someone and they're like, well, that was so general, that could apply to anybody. You know, people have this way of cutting you down with their words when it comes to this part in your life. And that's not good for your soul. That's not good for your spirit. That's not good for your energy. It's not good for your self-esteem. And so you need to take responsibility for the type of people that you are allowing into your life. This doesn't necessarily mean that you have to cut them out completely. I know that we can't do that with everybody, but it does mean that you can put up some barriers and energetic walls and create some space between you and that person. Maybe you talk to them only on a basis in which it is necessary, so you create a physical boundary with them as well. But taking responsibility for your energy also means things like meditating, or if you don't like meditating, doing some type of mindfulness practice, reading books that really allow you to feel replenished. It's eating healthy, drinking plenty of water, drinking teas, doing those things that are good for you, because your body is an expression of your spirit. And when your body feels good, your spirit can shine even brighter, which means that your psychic abilities are able to enhance. Your body does vibrate at its own level. And so you want to be sure that you're taking care of it properly, because if our body is vibrating high and our spirit is vibrating high, it makes it even easier to be a conduit for psychic energy, for psychic information. So taking responsibility for your life, for your actions, for your energy is huge when it comes to being a better psychic, medium, or intuitive, and really just getting that accurate information. The second tip that I have for you is to commit to a daily spiritual practice. This should be a spiritual practice that you love. It could be reading tarot cards every day. Maybe you shuffle some tarot oracle cards, you pull a card for yourself or 3 cards for yourself, just to get an idea of what you can expect for the day or what your spirit guides want you to know. There's several different ways that you can use a tarot card reading to start your day. It might even be that you meditate 10 minutes a day or more. It could be that you journal. Whatever your spiritual practice is, be sure that you do this daily, because what that does is it keeps your vibration consistent. It keeps the communication open between you and the non-physical world. So for me as a medium, it's important for me to keep my channels as clear as possible so that when I am communicating with spirit, I'm able to bring forth accurate information to my clients, to the people that I'm doing a reading for. And if I am able to stay in tuned with a spiritual practice every single day, then that means that my energy is staying high, right? My vibes are staying high enough for me to be able to do that on a daily basis. Now that said, there are of course days where I feel like, where I'm blah and I'm tired because I've had so much going on. There's still going to be days when even though I'm doing my daily spiritual practice, I just don't have enough energy to hold on to a spirit world as long as I need to do a reading. But even in those times, I'm still able to at least pull psychic information. I can still connect with my spirit guides and angels just fine. I have a good connection to my higher self. And the same thing is going to be true of you. When you have a spiritual connection that you are practicing and that you are maintaining daily, it keeps that channel open. It keeps that channel strong so that you can continue to receive messages from spirit regardless of what's going on in your life. My third tip is knowing the reason why you want to be psychic. Like, why is this important to you? Why do you want to be an accurate psychic? Why do you want to be a good psychic? Why do you want to be a fabulous psychic? What is your reason for that? Is it because you just enjoy having that connection? Do you enjoy having knowledge that other people don't have? Have you found that being highly intuitive has been very helpful for you? Or maybe you enjoy helping people. Maybe there's this element of being able to comfort people through your words and through encouragement, through those loving messages that come through from guides and angels. Maybe that's why you like being psychic. Everyone's different and everyone's motivation is going to be different. So getting in touch with your why is going to help you to stick to that path. Because as we were talking about earlier, psychics can attract a lot of critics. There's always going to be people telling you why you shouldn't be doing this and why it's ridiculous. And if you are very committed to your why, if you know why this is important to you and why you want to continue to develop as a psychic or as an intuitive or as a medium or as an energy healer, you are much more likely to stay on that path because you are going to run into challenges in this lifetime. It's just how it is. And there are going to be times when maybe you can't get that clear of a connection that you did a few days ago. There's going to be times when your connection to the spirit world gets a little stagnant. And there's going to be times when you doubt yourself. In fact, you're probably, or I should say maybe you're going through one of those times right now. And that's why you looked up this video. That's why you're watching. Because you just feel like that connection isn't quite there. And when that happens, we begin to doubt ourselves. We begin to wonder if our psychic abilities have left us completely. We begin to wonder if we've been making this up the whole time. We start to wonder if we've done something to upset our guides or universe, or if this is karma. You know, our mind is really good at providing fantastic stories that tell us why we're not good enough to be psychic, why we've lost this gift, why that ability is never going to come back. These are just stories. These are just stories that your mind is telling you because it wants to keep you safe, but also it wants to kind of figure out what's going on here. Why did those psychic abilities break down? Why aren't we able to connect all that great anymore? Trust me, nearly every psychic and medium and healer goes through this. You're not alone in this at all. all. And what I have found is that when this happens, it's kind of like a reset. It's as if Spirit has put us on pause for a short while so that we can get an energy boost or some type of reset. Maybe there's also something in our lives that we need to take care of. And we've been using our psychic abilities and the spiritual world as an excuse to not take care of what's in front of us. So it becomes a form of escapism. And that's not what Spirit wants for us. It's not what your higher self wants for you. It's not what your angels and guides want for you. Because if you're avoiding something that you need to confront and take care of, then that goes against the very first rule or against the very first tip I gave you, which is taking personal responsibility for your life, for your actions, and for your energy. And so sometimes Spirit will take a step back and everything will become quiet because we have to address something that's happening in our lives before we can move forward again. But if we know our why, if we know why we want to be psychic and why this is important to us, then when we run into those challenges, when we come into a situation where maybe our psychic abilities aren't working all that well, or it seems as if the information we're getting is not hitting the right accuracy points, or we're not getting as much evidence as we want to be, or the images that are coming through and the psychic information coming through just seems so jumbled, right? We can't make sense of it. It's confusing. So when you know your why, you're able to stick to that path and get through those tough times, knowing that the path is going to become clear again. It really is. I promise you, the path will become clear again. You just have to stick to it. So know your why. Maybe turn it into an affirmation. Repeat that to yourself every day. And also ask yourself, why am I going through this challenging situation right now? Is this a lesson? Is there something else I need to be doing? Is my heart calling me towards something else and I'm ignoring it? Get into that. Figure it out. Again, this coincides with the very first tip I had for you. Take responsibility for your actions, for your life, for your energy. And a lot of times when you're able to do that, your psychic abilities open up again and you go back to your why, and then you think to yourself, oh my gosh, I'm so glad that I didn't give this up. Like, it feels so good to be helping again, and it feels so good to be connecting to Spirit again. You're going to be really happy that you didn't give up on yourself or your spiritual path. My fourth tip for you is to remain curious about your psychic abilities, because when you're curious, you're more likely to continue to develop as a psychic. You're more likely to read different books, to watch different videos just like this one. You are more likely to get involved in different groups, in different communities. And what that does is it expands your consciousness. It gives you new ideas to work with. It gives you new methods and tools to play with, to tinker with, to experiment with. And when you are in that energy of being open to new information, to new tools, to new methods, you'll find that this walk never gets boring. There's always something new to learn. And a lot of times when you learn something new, whether it's just a new piece of information, whether it's a new way of looking at the same situation, whether it's that you learned something interesting about your favorite tarot card, or maybe you learned something interesting about a tarot card that you typically hate, but now it has a positive spin, or now it has more meaning on it, or now it's become your favorite card for meditation. All of these allow you to sink further into your practice and to become a better, more accurate psychic. Because when you have more information, when you have more tools, when you have more methods at your disposal, that means that you have a variety of ways of connecting with Spirit and overcoming your own challenges and your own perceived shortcomings. So staying in that energy of curiosity and continuing to develop your psychic abilities also puts you in a state of flow. It means that you are open to learning new things, and Spirit loves to work with people who are open to learning new things, which means you're also going to be a better channel, which means that your spirit guides and your angels and your ancestors, and maybe even the spirit guides and angels and ancestors of the person you're reading for, is going to bless you with phenomenal information and phenomenal tools and phenomenal advice because they know that you'll listen. They know that you're ready for it. They know that you welcome it. And Spirit loves to work with people who are welcomed and who are welcoming of the information that comes through. And when you have a good connection to the non-physical world, that means that you're able to receive a lot of accurate psychic information, which is why you're watching this in the first place, right? So always keep a mentality of curiosity. Always think to yourself, I wonder what would happen if XYZ took place. Or, I wonder why my clairvoyance isn't working as strong as it used to. I wonder if I should develop that more or if I should lean into my clairsentience because that's what's strongest right now. Always be curious. Keep seeking answers. Keep leaning into things. I promise you're going to love it. Number 5 on the list is to practice different mindfulness techniques. When you are mindful, your consciousness expands and you are also able to receive physical and non-physical information. Remember that your brain, your subconscious mind, is consistently picking up information that you are completely unaware of. Your frontal cortex is determining what information is important for you to digest and what information isn't. So at any given moment, you're picking up on millions of bits of information and you have no idea that you're doing it. I mean, right now, wherever you are, wherever you're watching this, you are surrounded by millions of spirits. And don't let that freak you out. It's not a freaky thing. But you are. There's spirit everywhere. The universe is everywhere. You are surrounded by spirits, even if you can't feel them or sense them. But now that I made you aware of it, you might be sensing spirit. You might be feeling one in the room. You might be noticing the temperature of the room. You might be noticing a slight change or a slight breeze. Just being aware that there's spirits near you and just being told that mindfulness is one of the great tips for expanding your awareness and raising your vibration and making you a more accurate psychic has already done something to your brain where your brain decided, ooh, let's go ahead and see what information we can bring forward that is non-physical. Let's go ahead and experiment with this a little bit. So already by being aware that that is the situation, your mind may have already kicked it up a notch so that you're already receiving information that we would consider psychic because it is not information that your mind would usually bring to you. Your mind is usually bringing you information that is catered to your survival. So it means that there's certain things that you're going to see and there's going to be certain things that you don't see. Right now, wherever you are, it's important for you to see whatever it is that you're actually able to see because your mind, your brain doesn't want you to walk into something and hurt yourself, or it doesn't want you to fall off something and die. Your mind is determining what information is necessary for your survival because that's what your brain does. But when you start to mold your brain and train it to pick up non-physical information, so psychic information, well, now it's not just tuned into survival. Now it's tuned into this magnificent world that can give you incredibly helpful information. So when you practice different mindfulness techniques, you are becoming more sensitive to the energies all around you. So a good mindfulness technique is to simply close your eyes and focus on your breath. So for example, you might count every cycle of breath. So a full cycle of breath would be 1 inhale and 1 exhale. So it might be 1, 2, 3, and as you're breathing, you're paying attention to how it feels when you breathe in the breath and when you breathe it out. So you're being very aware of how it feels in your body. There's a lot of different mindfulness techniques that are out there. If you guys would like me to create a video on mindfulness techniques, please put a comment down below and say mindfulness techniques, please. That's all you got to say, mindfulness techniques, please. And if I get enough of those comments, I will create a video on mindfulness and on how a lot of times I think mindfulness can be more helpful than meditation. I know that's blasphemy, right? In the psychic world, you're not supposed to say things like that because meditation is the end all be all of everything, or be all end all of everything. Anyways, but yeah, I think mindfulness is actually really powerful, especially for people who have a hard time with meditating. So again, if that's something you're interested in, put that comment down below. And if I get enough comments, I'll make the video and it'll be great. The sixth tip, I am having a hard time saying the word sixth. The sixth tip. All right, number 6 on the list. That's a lot easier for me to say right now. Number 6 on the list is to find people that you can grow with. Find people you can grow with. Now, I think that communities can be great, but I also think that some communities are a little toxic. So when you're finding people that you can grow with, it's really important that you feel safe with them, that you're comfortable with them, that your intuition isn't setting off some big red alarms. If you feel that something is off with a spiritual community, or if you're just uncomfortable around them, I give you full permission to go find a different community. You don't have to stay where something feels off or where something's uncomfortable, because as an intuitive person, I think it's really important for you to pay attention to those red flags that you're feeling and to honor that. And even if that spiritual community is on the up and up and nothing horrible is happening, there might just be people that you don't mesh well with, right? And so I think it's fantastic to find a group of people that you do mesh well with, that you're able to blend energies with and feel good and feel safe. And when you feel safe in your community, you feel better about being vulnerable and sharing your psychic impressions and receiving psychic impressions from others. And I find that you also have a tendency to be more confident, to have a higher self-esteem, because in that safe spiritual community, no one's going to put you down for your psychic impressions, right? They may not always validate your psychic impressions, but they're not going to be sitting there like rolling their eyes at you and casting judgment because you didn't tell them what they wanted to hear. Like, none of that's going to be in a healthy spiritual community. There might be 1 or 2 people that do that, but as a whole, most of the people in the community are going to be very safe to be around. They're going to be encouraging. They're going to be comfortable. And they're going to be comforting. It's going to be a wonderful experience. Now, that said, I understand that not everyone has access to a spiritual community. I do offer one called the Psychic Gym. If you'd like more information about that, you can look at the description area down below. I'll have the link for it. But a spiritual community doesn't necessarily have to be a big group of people. It can be as simple as having 2 other friends that you practice with. It can be a very, very small group of people. And these people that you grow with are ideally people that you can talk to about anything. And they're going to be there to listen. They're going to be there to offer their support. They're going to encourage you. And they're not going to give up on you. They're not going to make you feel as if something is wrong with you. Now, that said, they may brainstorm with you and they may dive into your energy, because that's what psychics do, to figure out if there's something that you could be doing different, or if there is a block that you are refusing to let go of. And we do that in so many different ways, right? That's what self-sabotage essentially is. It's often when we know we should be doing one thing, but we're doing another. And so a group of psychics, even if it's just 2 other people or 3 other people, may gently and lovingly bring that to your attention, not because they're judging you and not because they think there's something wrong with you, but because they believe in you and they want you to do better. And sometimes we do require the help of someone outside of us to point out where we're not being our own best friends, right? So if we're having an issue with food and we're acting like it's no big deal, or we have an issue with an addiction or whatever it is, and we pretend that it's not a problem, or we pretend that we're blind to it, or we're lying to ourselves, a healthy community, good friends, are going to gently bring that up to us. And from that point, it's up to us to decide if we're going to absorb that information and do something with it, or if we're going to acknowledge it and say, thank you for bringing that to my attention. I'm not ready to deal with that right now, so why don't we move on to something else? By the way, it's perfectly okay for you to say that. And if you do choose to say that to someone, they need to honor that. They need to honor that that's where you're at right now. And hopefully they'll continue the friendship. Maybe they won't. Maybe they're so involved in you and interested in you and love you so much that they can't watch you hurt yourself through self-sabotaging methods anymore. So they may need to take a step back. Usually they don't drop the friendship completely, but they may need to take a step back. And that's okay. We need to give them their space. But you might also say, thank you for bringing that information to me. I hadn't thought of it that way. I'm going to really look into this, and I'm going to ask my guides for help. And in the meantime, do you have any resources you can share, or are you picking up any other information that could be helpful to me? Because sometimes people will bring something to your attention that it just doesn't feel right to you. You know, that can happen too. They may be projecting something of themselves onto you. And we see this happen, unfortunately, in spiritual communities as well. So just be mindful and try to be as open as possible to what people are bringing to your attention. And from there, look at the facts, look at your behavior, look at what you've been telling yourself and how you've been treating others or treating the situation, and see if maybe you really are blind to how you've been behaving, or if the person you're talking to is projecting. Because either one goes, right? But regardless of how that situation takes place, it should be done in an attitude of love, in an attitude of concern and compassion. And most of all, it needs to be genuine, because as an intuitive person, you're going to know when it's not genuine. You're going to feel when it's coming from a place of selfishness or jealousy or intimidation. But if you're choosing the right people to grow with, that shouldn't happen. Although people are people, right? And so we go through things, and sometimes we end up in energies that we don't necessarily want to be in. But for the most part, the people you choose to grow with are going to have your back. And of course, you're going to have their back too, right? So again, the community doesn't necessarily have to be a big group of people. It can be a small group of people. Like I said, 2, 3, 5, whatever. But it can also be a subgroup in a larger group. So if you do get involved in a community, like I mentioned, the psychic gym, you know, the psychic gym is continuing to grow, which is fantastic. And within the psychic gym, I have noticed that there seems to be groups of people that just naturally kind of, I want to say, cling together. So obviously there's friendships that grow in that group, and that's fine. That's totally okay. That's what naturally happens in different communities like that. So your community may be that you join a big church, or you join an online membership, or you join some type of spiritual community. And while you may feel lost in the mix because it's a larger community, you're going to find those smaller groups of people that you can practice with outside of the community, right? And that becomes your community. So, man, I'm saying the community, I'm saying the word community a lot. So again, I think that the reason it's so important to have people to grow with is because you are going to go through those seasons of doubt or those seasons of change. You know, you might get to a point where your psychic gifts begin to change, and that can be really confusing. And so when you have people that are in your atmosphere who have your back, who believe in this stuff, who want to encourage you, then it's not going to be so scary when your psychic gifts begin to change, or it's not going to be quite as confusing because maybe they've gone through it too. So having that safe, supportive system can really help you to grow and to get through those tough times as a psychic. The last tip that I have for you, I know we finally made it to the end. This is a longer video than I thought it would be, but you know me, I don't hold back on stories and I don't hold back on information, do I? So the last tip that I have for you is to cultivate unwavering faith in yourself. Cultivate unwavering faith in yourself. In fact, I want you to comment down below. I want you to say, I have unwavering faith in myself. I have unwavering faith in myself. The reason this is so important is because there are times when you'll get close to people and you're vulnerable with them and you share your lives with them. You share your darkest secrets. You share your shadow side with them. They get to see all parts of you, the spiritual side, the not so spiritual side, right? And sometimes they may turn on you. Sometimes they may use that information against you. Or you may get involved in a relationship with someone. When I say relationship, that can be, someone who is a partner, spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend, but it could also just be a friendship or, something closer to that nature. And maybe you realize that they don't believe in you as much as they said that they do. Maybe there's something in their words or their actions that betray them. And in doing so, betray you. So they're not treating you like a peer. They're not treating you like you're intuitive. They're not treating you like you have these psychic gifts. In fact, the more you're around them, you realize that they're making these subtle little digs at you, or they're kind of ignoring your magnificence. Because if you're psychic, you are magnificent. You have magnificent powers. You have amazing capacities to love, to pour compassion out on other people. You have a lot of tremendous and amazing gifts, and sometimes people feel jealous or threatened by that. And when that happens, they can start to react. And when they start to react and when they start to treat you as if you're a problem, or they start making, again, those subtle little digs at you, and that can happen through words or through actions, it can really mess with your self-esteem. And it can also damage your spirit. It can damage your perception of yourself, and it can damage your psychic abilities, because when you stop believing in yourself and when you start doubting yourself and your psychic abilities more, the information that you're sending to the universe becomes jumbled. Your channels aren't as clear. They're still there. You can still receive information, but you may notice that it's becoming difficult, and it's because you have people in your atmosphere or a person in your atmosphere that's clogging up the channel. And having unwavering faith in yourself means that you're not allowing those people to get into your head so much. They might get into it a little bit. They might start sending and projecting horrible energy for a little bit, but you're going to notice it, right? Because you're smart, because you're intuitive, because you ain't no fool, you smart. You're going to be able to feel it. And when that happens, boop, you're going to put those energy boundaries right up. You're going to cut those energetic cords, and you're going to say, that's enough. That's enough. I am not going to allow anyone to do anything that causes me to doubt myself and my abilities. That is not okay. And again, that kind of goes hand in hand with the very first tip I had for you, being energetically responsible for your energy and for your life. And the way that you build unwavering faith in yourself is largely through, I want to say, affirmations. It is by reminding yourself of all of the magnificent powers that you have. It is by reminding yourself of all of the fantastic readings that you've done in the past that were right on, whether these are readings that you did for yourself or readings that you did for other people. Keep a journal, keep a notebook, and write these down, because when you're having moments of doubt, you can go back to this journal and you can go through all of the different readings and all of the different psychic impressions that you got correct. You can create unwavering faith in yourself by keeping the lines of communication open to your guides and to your angels so that they can continue to talk to you. Keep that line of information open all day. Talk to them all day. Stay open so that when you go to work, when you go to the store, when you're cleaning your house, when you're picking up the kids from school, you might continue to have that conversation with your angels, guides, ancestors, spirit, higher self, whoever, in your mind as you're driving, as you're cleaning, as you're going for a walk. Spirit communication doesn't need to happen only when you're meditating, only when you're shuffling cards, only when you're dowsing with your pendulum. Spirit communication can and does happen everywhere and anywhere at any time of the day. You just have to be open to it. And so the more you cultivate that, the more you make that a important part of your life, the more you make it a consistent part of your life throughout the day, the stronger your faith is going to be in yourself because you're getting evidence of communication all day long. The evidence of communication could be the conversations that you're having in your mind with your angels, guides, loved ones, spirits. It could be the synchronicities that start to pop up. It could be the different signs that are showing up every single day. And when that happens, when you're in that state of flow, when you're vibrating on the same level of spirit to the point where they're giving you signs and synchronicities, for some of you, I know for a fact that this video is a sign and synchronicity for some of you. I know some of you were flipping through your YouTube channel feeling down. You forgot you were subscribed to this channel. All of a sudden this came up and you're like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what I'm going with. Like, how did she know? How did Spirit know? Because Spirit knows everything. They know everything. And so as you continue to cultivate that relationship with the spirit world, and as you continue to stay open to the guidance and the signs and the synchronicities that they bring to you, the more your confidence is going to build. And the more faith you're going to have in yourself, in your psychic abilities, and in the spirit world. Because you're going to realize that every time you put that signal out to spirit, they listen and they answer. And that is amazing. Now, one of the easy things that you can do for yourself to also build unwavering faith in yourself is to create an audio with different affirmations that you can listen to while you are sleeping or while you are meditating. And if you don't want to create those, I've already got a couple for you and I plan to make more. So be sure that you check out this playlist of different audios and videos that you can listen to while you're sleeping. And what these videos will do, or what these suggestions and affirmations will do, is they slip past your conscious mind right into your subconscious mind so that you can begin to form healthier, more positive, more helpful beliefs in yourself and your psychic abilities. And as that happens, as you start to replace those old beliefs with new beliefs, with helpful beliefs, your confidence in yourself will become brighter and stronger. And again, as is the point of this video, your psychic abilities will become more accurate and they'll become stronger as well. Your clairvoyance, your clairsentience, your clairaudience, they will all become stronger and it's going to be fantastic. You're going to love it. So my friends, those are the tips that I have for you. I do hope that you found these helpful. And if you have a tip that you would like to share with this community, please put it in the comment section down below. There's plenty of people who read the comments and interact there. Commenting on these videos is a wonderful way to get involved with this community. So don't be shy. Don't be shy. There's no room for that here. Well, there kind of is. But if you're shy and you're not talking to us, we can't talk back to you, right? We can't be that encouraging community for you. So leave that comment down below. Share with me your best tip for becoming an accurate psychic. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure that you subscribe, hit that bell icon, and also remember, check out these videos over to the side. Maybe it's the side, it's one of these sides, I don't remember. Check out those videos. I know that you'll love them, and I will see you in the next video.